Hola. Happy New Year. 2026 is here. How did you use your 2025? Have you noticed that time is so indifferent that it just keeps moving? That as you're procrastinating, going on your phone on social media, scrolling, doom scrolling, wasting your time, the time keeps moving. You're getting closer to your grave. The opportunities that every day presents to you are lost. So how did you use your 2025? I'll tell you how I used my 2025. Almost every day, I moved my body. Every day, I meditated. I meditated to the point that meditation became who I am. I meditated to the point that I dream lucid dreams of me meditating, meaning that even in my sleep, I meditate. I did a lot of breath work. There's a breath work called Wim Hof breath work. It's kind of intense. You know, you breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, you hyperventilate, then you hold your breath. And at the top of it, there is holding the breath for about 3 minutes. It's not very comfortable, at least for me. But I've done it. I've done it. If in about 365 days, I think I've probably missed about 65, say maybe 300 times I've exposed myself to breath work. Working with the breath is very, very powerful because the breath is your life. So when you work with the breath, you're working directly with the source of your life. You're going to the basics, the fundamentals. When you work with your breath, you affect your perception. The breath affects the nervous system. So when you work with the breath, you balance the nervous system. And the nervous system is the one that affects your perception, your consciousness in this world. So you always want to optimize the nervous system because when it is topsy-turvy, going up and down, you become vulnerable to the devil. You tend to want to eat too much because, like I said, people don't eat because they are hungry. They eat for emotional reasons. Many people eat just to manage stress. Many people eat to numb themselves. So food is not playing just a nutritional role in our society. It's actually playing a much greater spiritual role. Yeah, you eat to meet your friends, but most times you get order for that ice cream or burger just because of the way it soothes your traumas that you have refused to face or you do not know how to face other than just eating. So when you calm the nervous system through breath, among many other things, you're able to notice a significant reduction in cravings because your body already is in what they call a vagal state or vagotone, parasympathetic bias. It is balanced towards the parasympathetic mode of the nervous system, which comes with a sense of contentment. So when people tell you that on the spiritual journey, you get this feeling of enoughness, I am enough, it is because your nervous system is in its vagal tone. Heart rate is low, you're digesting food, everything. If they look at your brain waves on those screens, what they call ECGs or whatever, they're able to see calm waves. So you feel content. All these cravings that you had for things like food, things like sex. Many people use sex as a way of managing stress. So, as you live your life, you get all these tensions building in you. You're busy hunting for money. You got all these tensions building, especially in your hip area, the sacral area. You get a lot of tensions that are building up from psychological as you're hunting for money, but also from the food you eat. Most of this unhealthy food that is prevalent right now in modern time also causes blockages in your energy system. So it causes tensions in the body. Okay, things like eggs, cheese, dairy products, pork, alcohol. Those things cause tensions in your body. So you have tension building up like a volcano inside of you. Then you add your life traumas all the way from childhood until now, things that have happened to you that you have caged. You know, things have happened to people. People have stories, by the way. People have stories. Things have happened. Things happen. Yeah, so they all build traumas inside our bodies. And this tension keeps building, especially in the sacral area, the hip area. So people need to release that through ejaculation. Need to release that through ejaculation. Wow. Regularly. Because the guy, and as the tension builds up, your desire for sex increases and goes up, and you begin to become jittery. Yeah. You begin to become jittery. That's how you cheat on your wife. Maybe sex at home is coming with a lot of conditionalities. You don't have a good relationship with your wife, so having sex with her is not satisfying, or it is not happening. And then you go out and engage in a lot of casual sex, making it even riskier for yourself, not only for your health, but spiritually, getting all these sexual partners. So all this is happening because your nervous system is not equanimous. Yes. So when you manage the nervous system through breath work, cravings for things like food, things like sex, things like continuous doom scrolling on social media, because also that gives you a release. Even things like football, getting so addicted to a football club that doesn't even know you. I'm talking about myself right now. I'm a Chelsea fan. Yeah, but now I don't suffer it that as much as I used to suffer it. Yeah, because all these things, when you're engaging in them, all these passions, you're really just looking for an outlet for pent up energy, tensions that are unreleased. So you release them through video games, through football, through sex, through junk food, pork, alcohol, through weed, cigarettes. Do you get what I mean? All these are outlets for pent up energy. So when you do breath work, you calm the nervous system. When you calm the nervous system, it's no longer giving you signals. You become strong. Your willpower becomes strong. You're able to say no to certain things. I was able to say no to alcohol because what alcohol was making me feel, aka happy, I was already happy. So saying no to alcohol was very easy because it was serving a purpose of numbing me and providing me with temporary happiness. And so when I was able to calm my nervous system and achieve the state that I was looking for in the alcohol, saying no to alcohol was very simple. It can be applied across the board, whether it is sex or casual sex. I like talking about sex because it's the unspoken one among Ugandans all over, world over. But I'm talking about the society I know. In Uganda here is the sex industry is booming. is booming, especially around men my age who have now acquired money, but also acquired a lot of traumas of life, a lot of things they are sitting on, their marriages, their businesses, their expectations. So the only outlet they have is sex. And Uganda is full of beautiful women. Yeah, and they know that the men desire the sex. They need it. They need it just to stay alive. They need it to get the validation of love. Many men don't feel loved. They don't feel loved. They were never loved by, they never felt the love of their fathers and mothers or whatever growing up. They don't feel loved in their marriages because they're not managing their marriages properly. They actually do not know how to run a good marriage. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm not separating myself from them. Mark my words. I'm not standing on a pedestal saying, hey, I'm holier than thou. I'm telling you guys. No, 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 no. I'm speaking from a lived experience. So men don't know how to love their wives. Perhaps they never saw their fathers loving their mothers. So we have all these traumas that we carry from the past. And by the time you're at this age, you need a release, regular release from the tensions that have built up in your body. And then you make money. Yeah, you make money. And that money gives you the ability to release your tensions without waiting. Because when you get money, the women come. They sense you like sharks from a mile. Yeah. And they find you also weak and vulnerable for them. And they pounce because they have what you want and you have what they want. Do you know what you have that they want? They want your money, they want your time, and they want your energy. 3 things that a man needs to build an empire, to become a strong man: capital, money, time. Because you're dying. Time is indifferent. It's not waiting for you, man. It's going. And your energy, energy that you need to invest in creative endeavors, energy that you need to invest in being patient, energy that you need to invest in analyzing, in planning. All this energy is sucked from you by those women. And it's not their problem. It's your problem. Because you provide demand. And where there is demand, there is supply. If you made yourself the man who is strong through processes like breath work, where you're able to calm your nervous system and release the tensions. That's what it does, breath work. It releases the tensions. You have an energy body, in case you didn't know. By the way, one of the things that also makes us suffer in this world is that we do not know ourselves. Many people do not even know that they have an energy body. It is invisible, but it is integrated, especially with the nervous system. Yeah. And everything that happens in your life, that energy body takes a notice of it. Let's just call it the nervous system. It takes a record of it. So whatever it is that you suffered, my father died when I was 12 years old. The nervous system did not forget that. I'm sure there are other traumas. Some of them you even forget just to protect yourself. You forget them. But the nervous system, the energy body, does not forget. And these form blockages, which then manifest in the physical body. They manifest in the physical body as disease, as cancer. Yeah. But also they manifest as anxiety, as depression, as discontent, which then leads you towards addictions, because these addictions, including the addiction to ejaculation, the addiction to an orgasmic release, it leads you to those addictions like alcohol, like drugs, like betting. All those addictions are outlets of unresolved tensions in your energy body that you have accumulated over life. So your responsibility as a man, especially in 2026, and here I was talking about 2025. Of course, I'm going to tell you that what I did in 2026 is what I'm going to do in 2025 is what I'm going to do in 2026. But one thing that defines a man, and a woman for that matter, I'll talk mainly for the men because I'm a man. One thing that defines a man is your ability and willingness to take responsibility. Nietzsche, a German philosopher, once said that no one will build you the bridge upon which you will cross the river of life. So there is a river of life. You need to cross that river, and nobody is going to build you the bridge to cross that river. Meaning that there are some things that you as the man should take responsibility for. And you cannot spend money and buy anything that is going to balance your nervous system. No, you have to, first of all, invest in knowing what you need to do. What are the techniques for calming my nervous system? There are several, by the way. I'm just talking about breath work. What are the techniques of calming my nervous system? And then have the courage, the lack of fear, the noticing of fear, but doing what you need to do anyway. Yeah, so courage is not the absence of fear. It is being afraid. And then doing what you need to do because it is your responsibility as a man. Yeah, there's a lot of responsibility on us as men because our families revolve around us the way planets revolve around the sun. Our calmness or our agitation, basically our vibration, spreads into our wives and into our children. So you have an agitated nervous system, but you have money. And you think that you are raising good children simply because you send them to the movies, you buy them good clothes, you send them to good schools, they eat sausages every morning. That's how we've been trained to think that that's good parenting. But you are sending out vibrational frequencies from your energy body of unresolved trauma into your children. Yeah. They see you smoking. They see you drinking. Every time friends come to your home, the only way they can see their father happy is when the father is drinking alcohol. That's the only time he laughs. So they get to associate a good time, enjoyment of life with alcohol. Then you wonder why the children that you gave everything, and I mean everything in your mind is material, because you have money. You gave them everything. Why they are now addicts, and you're having to pay for them to be in Utabika. You know, so the problem is really a case of misunderstanding the world. You know, material is not everything. All material comes from spirit. The unseen forces create the seen forces. So you have to invest in your vibrational frequency, the calmness of your nervous system, by removing tensions on a daily basis, because every day, just by living, you are accumulating tensions. You need to release them. You need to release those tensions so that you are now scientifically proven to be vibrating at equanimous or whatever they call it level. Do you know what I mean? It's your responsibility. You've got to learn how to do it, and you've got to have the courage to do it. So breath work is amazing. Yeah, it's in my routine. For 2025, it was in my routine, and I practiced it. It's not the only thing, by the way, that unblocks your energy body. No. There are many other things, that activities, meditation, even exercise. Yesterday I walked 50 kilometers. A few days earlier, I walked 52 kilometers. And that energy, that is evidence of energy in my body. It is evidence of a lack of blockages, or a reduction of blockages. I don't know if you can ever have zero blockages, because they're always being formed daily as you are living. But yeah, you do your best to remove. So the more you remove, the more your energy flows seamlessly through your body. And when the energy is flowing seamlessly through the body, it manifests as great energy to do many things. If I have energy to walk 102 kilometers in 3 days, it means that is the same energy, because energy is just energy. You see, what you use it for is what defines it. So if you use it for chemical, it becomes chemical energy. If you use it for running, it becomes kinetic energy. If you use it for creativity, it becomes creative energy. If you use it for sex, it becomes sexual energy. If you use it for digestion, it becomes what is it? Digestive energy, mechanical and chemical. Or if you use it, atomic, there are all these different energies, but it's the same energy. Its purpose is what you then name it, but it's the same energy. So for me to walk 102 kilometers in 3 days is a manifestation of the presence of energy. It means that my energy channels are open, and they're allowing in more energy to come into the body. Make 2026 a year of understanding the unseen forces. Energy is the unseen force. Yeah, understand what your energy body is. Understand how you can bring in more energy into the body. That is why, anyway, I started this channel. I feel that, a part of my life's calling is to deliver knowledge like this that was not delivered to us by our education system and by our parents. We did not get it at home, did not get it at school, did not get it at church. Yeah. And now we've grown up to think that the world we see in the 5 senses is the real world. It has limited us in how far we can express ourselves, but it has also caused us a lot of suffering, because every time we try out things, we hit walls of limitation, because that's the nature of the physical world. It is full of walls and obstacles and limitations. But once you graduate and understand that what you don't see is much bigger than what you see, by multitudes of trillions and billions. Then you start to go there. And one of the things that you don't see is your breath. Do you see it? You don't see it. You sense it on your nose when you breathe it in and out, but you don't see it. But it is keeping you alive. That is a subtle force. Your breath is a subtle force. Your thoughts. Yeah, if I cut your head, will I see them? They're there. Energetic vibrational frequencies in your skull. But they determine your life, because in the Bible they say, as a man thinks, that's how he is. So you've got to learn that world. You've got to understand that world in 2026. The world of energy, thoughts, breath, electromagnetic field around you, which can now be measured scientifically. It is not a myth. It used to be a myth. Long ago they used to talk of auras. Put saints and put a halo on top of a saint to show you that they are glowing. We all glow, but some people glow more than others. And there is a technique to cause your glow to become big. And when your glow becomes big, your life expression becomes amazing. Your health, your strength, your power over yourself. But every time I talk about power, I'm not talking about power over others. That's tyranny. Power over others, as you see in the world. The greatest power you can have is power over yourself. 2026 should be a year in which you exercise power over yourself, over your desires, over your cravings, over your animal impulses. And it is a job that you have to do till you die. It's never complete, but it becomes perfect every day. Every time you put your intention and your attention and your awareness towards looking within yourself and facing those things, those demons, those cravings, those impulses, the animal in you, the shadow in you. Every time you commit to that, you become better at it. Your nervous system gets the message. It knows what you want, and it begins to realign and to rewire itself towards ensuring that you achieve your objective. That is how much your body, which God gave us, your body and your mind, is here, user-friendly, to work for you as a person towards achieving your objectives. Because every time you put intention, attention, and action, the body and the mind get the memo about what you want to do. And they begin to rearrange themselves slowly. That's why consistency is very important. They begin to rearrange themselves so that they are able to give you that which you desire, your objective. So God gave you that body and gave you that mind to help you create. Because to create something, you have to have an intention first to do it. Then you have to pay attention to it. And then you have to bring your awareness to it. Then mind, body begin to realign in ways we cannot explain. And your life begins to change towards achieving that objective, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Energy doesn't matter. It does not say this is right, this is wrong. No, whatever it is that you want to do. Yeah. So you've got to understand energy work. So last year I was able to meditate on a daily basis. Meditate, breath work, of course, Qigong. Qigong. I do standing Qigong. And standing Qigong is a form of standing meditation. really Qigong is a meditation, but it also combines physical exercise together with the meditative practice. So I mean, like I need a whole video for Qigong, and I think I've talked about Qigong a lot. What a tool to have in your toolkit of life. Yeah, that's all I can tell you, man. Wow, wow. So in April, my friend and mentor, Elitom Elamin, also got me onto the bandwagon of going to the gym. Let me show you some muscle here. See that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah. So I started to go to the gym to lift weights, and I got to understand the power of weightlifting in improving the quality of your life. As men 50 and above, one of the things that happens is, I think, called sarcopenia, which is age-related muscle loss. So as you're spending time in your cars, spending time in the office, spending time in the couch at home. In other words, you're living a life of eating but not moving. You're over 50, you're losing muscle. One of the things that muscle does, number one, is to protect your bones so that you don't easily fracture. Fractures are killer, they are fatal. People die from pain when they get these fractures, especially the women. But also as a man, you do not want to fracture your bones. That's number one. Number two, it is so important for brain development and brain preservation. As you're moving your muscles, developing them, tearing them, and them recomposing uh, in the gym, they produce certain proteins. Yeah. And these proteins are supposed to promote the growth of new brain cells. So things like dementia are prevented simply by going to the gym and lifting weights. Things like loss of cognition, all these things that are caused by having a brain that is degenerating are prevented by going to the gym and moving the muscle and building muscle capabilities. Yeah. So going to the gym is a brain protector, especially if you are 50 and above and beginning to suffer the ill effects of your lifestyle, but also the ill effects of aging. Yeah, yeah. Muscles are also a sponge for sugar. So when you're eating all these wheat products, yeah, bread, chapati, cakes, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy them also, but for me, I can enjoy them. Why not? I have the muscles. That's where I'm heading anyway. So if you build the muscles, when you build the muscles, you can enjoy some things that are not supposed to be enjoyed. Yeah, so anything that spikes your blood sugar, increases your blood sugar. Once the am I going ahead of myself? Is that sugar is not supposed to remain in the blood stream. It needs to be absorbed into the muscle or turned quickly into fats. So when you become insulin resistant, because insulin is the hormone that is supposed to prepare the body to suck the sugar out of the blood so that the blood is sugar-free. So once you become insulin resistant, that is a product of course, your lifestyle, lack of movement, alcohol, stress, all these things that cause insulin resistance. Once you become insulin resistant and there's a lot of sugar in your blood, especially We're talking about muscles. When you don't have muscles, you don't have the sponge to pull the sugar out of your blood. So when the sugar remains into your blood vessels, it damages them, damages those pipes, as well as damages the heart by causing inflammation or kuzimba throughout the whole bloodstream, all the organs, the brain, the eyes, the heart, the liver. All these things are inflamed by the sugar, as well as those pipes, the veins. So over time, that is how you get those strokes, heart disease, and all those problems. So when you build muscle, especially after 50, you're providing the sponge to continuously suck and store the sugar out of your blood. Plus, you need to look good and young because building muscles is anti-aging. You need to look good. A man needs to look good. You need to look disciplined. A person needs to look at your body and see a man who is investing and taking responsibility for himself, investing his time, his life into himself. When a person looks at your body, they're supposed to look at self love. Yeah. But we live in a society where having a belly means that God has blessed you. So I suppose that's why we don't invest in looking the real good, which real good is having a muscular body like a man is supposed to. Yeah, I was looking at a video by some pastor, some fat pastor, who was saying that men who spend time in the gym, that's all they do. You know, they look good and that's where it ends. That men who are working for their families, who are spending time in the office and doing deals, they don't have muscles because they really don't have time to work on those muscles. They are busy trying to get material wealth for their families. Makes a little bit of sense in modern world, in Uganda. But actually, when you look after your body and exercise properly, and the oxygen is going to the brain, the nutrients, food are being carried to the brain, there is no way you can be daft. Like I said, creativity, planning, analysis, organization, patience, all these things, these higher powers, come from energy. You have to be energetic to be able to express them. The less energy you have, the more irritable you are, the less you're likely to take on big projects because you really don't have the energy for them. The more you're likely to settle for less. I'm not lying. So yes, when you look after your body, you become brighter, you don't become dafter. And if making money is your goal, you bring a lot of energy towards that objective. And anything that you apply your energy and attention to, you succeed because that's the law of nature. But it's not good for a man to acquire the whole world, the material world, but lose his soul, as Jesus said in the Bible. Jesus actually said that it is very difficult for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. It's difficult so much like a camel passing through the needle of an eye of a needle. I don't know if people ponder upon these things, but me, I understand. I understand it's so difficult for a rich man to care about his body, about his soul. Your soul is your body. It's all one. Let no one try to confuse you, you know, trying to define things they don't see. Your soul is your body. Or at least your body is expressing your soul, if it makes you more comfortable like that. But for me, everything is one: soul, spirit, mind, body. One, when I look at you, I'm looking at your consciousness, I'm looking at your spirit, I'm looking at your mind. I know everything is connected. So there is no reason for you to gain the world, material world, all these nice cars, all these nice apartments and what, and lose your soul. No attachment to the unseen forces, no attachment to God, no attachment to your health, the real wealth. So you degenerate, visibly degenerate, but yet you're coming out of an AMG Mercedes Benz, but you have insulin jabs and you're taking pills to fall asleep, but you're coming out of an AMG Mercedes Benz right next to your amazing mansion. These are some of the things you need to ponder upon. And I'm not saying don't look for money. I'm just saying come with more energy to make more money. And then you eat that money properly. It becomes really nice. Yes, because when you're eating the money and you have the energy to eat the money, the creativity to eat the money, the calmness of mind to really eat the money, it becomes nice. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, that's my conversation with you for 2026. What I'm calling upon you to do is, of course, to be consistent for those of you that really want to change. By the way, many people have access to the information required for them to be new individuals, to transform themselves and become newer, better, optimized, more efficient versions of themselves. But what they lack is the courage to take the first step, because the fear overwhelms the intention. They are afraid of accountability. Because accountability, you see, once you start the journey, I was telling my son that some people are afraid of getting six packs because a six pack has to be maintained. You can't get a six pack and then stop. It has to be maintained. So people do not want commitment. They do not want accountability. There is that inner fear to commit. Some people are even afraid of success, because success requires accountability from you. It also requires you to maintain it. And then you have now to deal with a new fear, which is the fear of losing, which is even much stronger than the fear of not getting. People are more afraid to lose. So they get afraid of success. So there's a lot of fear in our minds and in our bodies that we are holding, preventing us from taking the steps required to be the men we can be. Now, knowing that you are just being afraid, because I remember there's a guy I'm helping who was 118 kilograms and is now 85 kilograms. He has totally become a new person. Totally become a new person. And it's not even about the weight loss. It's about the character, the personality that the guy now has, that the guy now brings to his family on a daily basis. The guy brings to his workplace on a daily basis. That guy is also an active church member. I'm imagining the character, the personality that he brings. Because you don't just lose weight like that, especially when it involves you doing work, when you don't have to take Ozempic, weight loss drugs, when you have to walk, when you have to fast, you have to watch, change your relationship with your cravings for food. The guy changed completely. But at the beginning of the journey, when I told him to start walking, his first response is, I hate walking. I told him, you don't hate walking. These are just your traumas speaking. You definitely hate walking, because when your body thinks, your fat, 118 kilograms body, thinks of walking, it thinks of pain. And when it knows it cannot lose weight in only one walk, that it is going to be required to walk day in, day out, day in, day out, it also starts to fear the commitment required. And then you start mentioning things like fasting to a person who has a tight relationship with food. Do you know how much fear that brings out? I know, because I'm speaking from personal experience. Anyone mention fasting? What? Are you crazy? People become defensive. Some of people become angry. Then there is this beautiful reason of I'll get ulcers. Very nice escape. You don't eat, you get ulcers. A lie. So people grab onto that and use it as a rationale not to fast, just simply because of fear. Munange, we have fear in our hearts. We have fear. When I elevated my awareness, one of the things I realized was fear. I have fear. I deal with fear. It's an apocalyptic battle. Armageddon. What? Armageddon. The war of Armageddon is always happening in my mind. Why? Dealing with fears. Fears that place limitations. Fears that put you in survival mode only. Anything that risks taking you out of survival mode, even if it causes your flourishing and your thriving, you resist, you fear. So that guy was afraid of walking. But I talked him into walking. 2 weeks down the line, he was telling me, this is a beautiful thing. I love walking. Of course you love walking because God created you to walk. Walking, the muscles release endorphins, which are feel-good hormones, which probably you were not feeling when you were not moving. You didn't know that feeling. You can't explain it to people who don't move. They call it the runner's high. A runner cannot explain the runner's high to you when you don't run. It is a feeling state. So when he began to get those feelings, he fell in love with walking. But he really wanted to improve his life. Thank God he rose over his fears, which many of you cannot rise above. You rather stay where you are. Safety first. Stay where you are. So he rose above his fears, started fasting, combined his fasting with prayer because he's a Molokole, which is amazing. And yeah, changed his relationship. He loved chapatis just like I do. He loved chapatis and is from Ginger. So those chapatis, Basoga chapatis and Soga. He loved them. He had a relationship with them, but he had to end it. And not end it in the sense of renunciation. He tells me that every 2 weeks he gets a day in which he really indulges in his love of Ensoga, chapati Ensoga. Yeah. But the relationship was changed. And now he's a moving example of a man who takes responsibility and a body that listens to your intentions. If you apply your awareness and your intention to your objectives, the body will respond. It is meant to be your servant, not your master. And that guy there, Herbert, is a walking testimony of what can be when a man takes responsibility, when a man faces his fears and has to override them and transcend them. Continuous work, non-stop work that you should bring into 2026. Cheers, I love you. We shall be talking some more. I really wanted to make this video. I'm always so busy, so busy. Like now, by now I would have already finished a yoga session, a qigong session, a workout session. But I said, you know what? I have to make this video. People out there need to hear this message. Besides, it's my calling to teach the world through my own lived experience. My own lived experience. Not through authority, but through my own lived experience. and through compassion and through movement to teach the world that they can heal themselves. Because it is through being able to heal yourself mentally, physically, that you acquire freedom from those who are peddling the healing. Pharmaceutical industry, doctors. People give doctors a lot of respect in Uganda. Dr. Gondi, Dr. Gondi, what's that? Don't need you. All these people that are peddling, all these food industries, peddling junk food to you because they know that it soothes your pain. You become free from it. Freedom. And freedom is the true peace. With freedom comes peace, which is what I wish upon you in the year 2026. Can never stop talking. Bye.